Priest vanished right after their wedding. Couple stunned when they find out who he really is. Heather and Dominic had always remembered their wedding day as a small miracle. The service was held at a modest chapel on a humid July afternoon in Chicago. The bride's father, gravely ill but determined to walk her down the aisle, had arranged one last surprise. No one knew what it was until minutes before the ceremony began, when a man walked through the doors, calm, smiling, and dressed in priestly robes. He had flown in that morning from somewhere in South America, just for them. He performed the wedding. He blessed them. Then, without staying for the reception or saying much more, he disappeared, gone before the newlyweds even cut the cake. Over the years, Heather and Dominic would occasionally flip through their wedding album, pausing at the photos of the priest. They had no idea where he was now. He wasn't the kind of man to keep in touch or post on social media. A decade passed. Life unfolded gently. Then, on a regular morning during a camping trip, everything shifted. Their phones began buzzing. Messages poured in. A name they hadn't thought of in a long time was suddenly on every screen in the world. The man who had married them in a quiet chapel in 2014, who had flown across continents for one afternoon and then vanished, was now standing on a balcony at the Vatican, wearing white. Father Bob was Pope Leo XIV. It turned out he had spent years in Peru as a missionary, been elevated quietly through the church's hierarchy, and in the span of just 2 days, had been chosen as the 267th Pope. The couple's wedding day, once a personal moment sealed in memory, had become part of a much larger story. The man who had gently taken their hands in his, said the vows, and disappeared into the night. He hadn't been running away. He had been on his way to lead over 1 billion people, and all they could do now was pull out their wedding album and look again. Not just at a priest, but at a pope.